Good morning. It's Rexanna with Garden of Herbs. And today I wanted to shoot a video. I'm not going to be talking a whole lot about herbs. I may touch on it, but this morning what was on my heart was we're already in September. And basically I'm an herbalist, and really you hear, or you expect to hear, herbalists talk a lot about herbs, and you don't really expect to hear them talk very much about diet or food. But really we do talk a lot about food and food choices. And in my last newsletter that I put out, people often hear a lot about, from me anyway, they hear a lot from me about staying away from sugar. And I used to be very addicted to sugar. Growing up, it was not really a big thing. We used to, in my household, especially when we used to go visit our grandmother, there was always candy on the table for the taking, and it wasn't a big thing to go and get ice cream. And she always was baking us goodies. And so we didn't look at it as a bad thing to have cake or to have ice cream. And we certainly were never told no, that we couldn't have candy until we went home. And our mother would tell us that's too much, you know. And it did affect me to some degree. I was sickly as a child. We never looked at it as sugar. There was a lot of other reasons that I was sick, and I do now know why I was sick. If I'd probably laid off the sugar, I probably wouldn't have been as sick, but we do know other reasons why I was sick. But in today's society, you cannot go down one grocery aisle, you cannot pick up one can of tomato paste or tomato sauce without looking in the ingredients and seeing that sugar is added. It's added to every vegetable, it's added to every can of corn. All of our everything, every box of cereal has sugar in it. And it started just because it was a flavoring, and that's why we have an increase of diabetes in society today. I've done a lot of study, I've done a lot of research. They say a little bit of sugar is not bad for you, but when you consider how much sugar is in one product, and then you eat numerous products in one day, all that sugar adds up. You can't get rid of that sugar overnight. And then you wake up and you continue to eat sugar, and you eat more sugar and more sugar and more sugar. You're turning yourself into a diabetic in just a couple of years. So I'm very anti-sugar. I don't care whether it's the good sugar, the good pure cane sugar, the unprocessed sugar. I don't care what kind of sugar we're talking about. It's all bad. And at the age of, at an early age, at a teenage age, kids are so obese now because of sugar, glucose sugar. The Food and Drug Administration, the Agriculture Commission, everything, they've been warned and told, cut back on the sugar, no more sugar, and still they keep pouring the sugar in. They hide the sugar and label it differently. Okay, I've talked about sugar enough. Sugar is bad for everybody, okay? It's bad. In other countries, they don't have to worry about the sugar content because they already know. In other countries, America, they know that it's just easy to get in, and it's easy to relabel it. So in America, we have a problem with sugar, okay? And I'm going to move on to the next subject. But I'm really against sugar, and I think people need to take their kids off sugar. That's the reason we have a lot of learning problems, because children cannot hold their attention because they have so much problems with sugar. Okay. And they can't burn the fat. So we're going to talk about sugar, and then we're also going to talk about protein. Adding sugar to proteins, examples in meat, it increases it by 200%. So when you add those two things together, then you have a double problem. Excess amounts of protein, say you're going to get like extra meat on your hamburger and your extra cheese and all that kind of stuff, well then that's another 200%. So you want an extra triple hamburger or something like that. That's what America's problem is. We for just another 50 cents or another dollar or whatever, you can get extra. So that's another problem with obesity in this country. And it's driving diabetes and heart attack and stroke. So I'll go on to the hidden sugars, which the hidden sugars are your fruit juices, your flavored yogurt, your alcohol, and your lunch meats. They all have sugar in them, and they all have, you know, it's just your honey ham, your honey turkey, all that is all added sugars. And you may not say, well, that it doesn't really look like it's got that much sugar. It's all sugar, all sugar. And your flavored yogurts, you know, even though that stuff's supposed to be kind of good for you, it's really high in a lot of sugars. Okay, and then we'll go on to the grains and the crackers, the French fries, and your pastas and your pasta sauces that I talked about earlier. Your breads, your muffins, all that is really high in carbohydrates. And every time you go get some French fries to go with your hamburger, and you get your ketchup and you get all that other kind of stuff, that's processed foods, and that is really high in sugar. And I know it may sound like I'm really raining on your parade right now because you think, golly, what am I going to eat? Well, there's a lot of foods that you can eat, really good foods. And now you have some fruits that are sweeter than vegetables that they are going to trigger your insulin at the same time. They're good fruits, and they can be eaten in small amounts. And once you get off all that other stuff, you can slowly introduce these back into your system. But you should get off of these for a while. And that's your bananas, your grapes, your papayas. Papayas are really good, but you should get off of it for a while. You can introduce them. I mean, if you get like a half a cup of berries a day, that's really a good amount. But if you just sit and eat just grape after grape after grape after grape after grape and just don't even count your grapes, that's another thing. People don't take into consideration serving sizes. And when you don't count your serving size, say I'm a grown man and I just eat a whole bowl of grapes, that's probably too much for that man. Because you are a grown man, you should eat about a cup of grapes or a half a cup of grapes, and that's plenty. It's okay to eat like a whole apple, but you know, some people don't take into consideration how much they're eating, because there are serving sizes that you are supposed to eat. And I sit there and watch some people, they'll eat a whole big old this or a whole big old that. And I'm thinking to myself, their blood sugar's going straight through the roof. And I know people saying, that's not really right, you know? Yeah, that's right. Because there are a certain amount of sugars in a serving size of fruit. And when you go beyond that serving size, your blood sugar shoots straight up through the roof. Yeah. Something to think about. Okay, we're going to talk about MSG, monosodium glutamate. And I hope I said that right. That's why it's called MSG. And often it is hidden in a lot of foods. Like you'll see it in soups, especially, and you'll see it in salad dressings. You'll see it in those. One of my favorites is the little. I always try to get the little bouillon cubes that doesn't have it in it, which there's very few. The beef and chicken, and I see people just buy it right and left off the food, off the shelves at the grocery stores. And I'm looking, turning my labels around, and I see how it's kind of labeled, and they've renamed it over the years, so you have to be up on how they've labeled it, rewritten it, or rewrote it, and so they have some that, I mean, it's down to just one at my grocery store, and sometimes they'll buy it all out, and if I go up there and it's not there, then I have to order it online. So you have to be really careful. It will spike your hormone insulin level up to 300%, and it triggers your hormone. It's the reason a lot of people have the big guts, and your cortisol level will go through the roof. And your estrogen too. A lot of soy protein powders and soy isolate, they can increase your estrogen. And fermented, like sprouted soy, for example, like the tofu and all that kind of stuff. I can't have any of that stuff. And even birth control pills. You have to be really careful. All this can kind of lead to stress, and a cumulative amount of stress. You'll have stress on top of stress on top of stress, and you're like, I don't know why I'm stressing. And so that leads to belly fat. And sometimes you can be in pain, you can have inflammation, you can be thinking you're 80 years old and you're 30 or 35, or you're reaching 40 and you're wondering, how am I going to make it to 60? I know I was in that shape. Sometimes there's all kinds of ways that you can go to your chiropractor and he can, do some pressure pointing. Some people do acupuncture. I'm not into acupuncture, but there are other ways that they can do some stress relieving, or you can, I do essential oils and I get a massage. A massage is great to help you relieve stress, and they can get in there and hit on some pressure points. I believe in that really highly, because I'm all tied up in knots. That helps a lot. But the thing that I want to really be an encourager to you right now is there's some things that you can do. That was the bad side. This is the good side. The small amounts of protein, anywhere from, the palm of your hand is a good measuring. And I know a lot of people have heard this before. If your hand is kind of small on the inside, not on the outer portion, not like that part, but on the inside part right in here, 3 to 5 ounces of like chicken, fish. You don't want to just eat beef all the time. Little portions, and go a day without any meat whatsoever. And I am the type of person, I do not eat a lot of dairy. I just don't eat a lot of dairy. But you can turn that into like grass-fed. You don't have to eat, I always think about having chickens free range and your beef free range. You don't want them cooped up. You want them to have freedom to roam around on a farm, and I want them to be as free as I want to be free. I want them to be fed good food. That's how I believe in the way of life that I would like to live. So if I can't get it, I probably won't buy it. And it's not terrible to live without meat. I mean, it's nice to live with meat. I've been a vegetarian before, and I have lived on very little meat, and I've sustained very well. You do have to have some meat in your diet to have adequate blood levels, and I did that very well. I went back to eating red meat, and I live a better quality of life. But it's not to say that you can't be healthy on a vegetarian lifestyle. But it's very good that you use a lot of wisdom in choosing the type of diet that you want to live, but you need to choose your meat very wisely. And that is because of the fat. The fat has to be, hormone free, and it has to be the type of fat that's going to break down into your body. And you don't want to overdo it as far as having too much where it takes a lot to digest meat in your system. And what I like to really tell people is you want a little bit of meat and a whole lot of green vegetables. A whole lot of green vegetables. That needs to be the biggest part of your plate. And I love to put butter, or I love to put a really good olive oil. You don't want to really cook it in olive oil. I like to cook a lot of my food in whether it's bone broth or whether it is in just regular chicken broth. And then you can add your oil as you're getting it out of that. And you want your kales, your cabbage, your broccoli, and you really want them to be nice and crisp. You don't want them to be all limp and everything, because you want them to hold that nutritional value. Your cruciferous vegetables are very important for your minerals. You need a lot of minerals, and that's throughout the entire year. As much as you can keep them fresh and keep them going. Spinach. Some of these stay frozen out of your garden as much as you can freeze them. I've had a great success throughout my garden, and I was able to freeze quite a bit. I canned a little bit, but I hate canning. I love canning, but I just don't like, I like to keep them as fresh as possible. And your fiber is going to come especially through your, to keep your hormones up, keep them fat burning and all that. Plus it has a lot of high potassium, and keep you, low on the sugar end. Your potassium is needed to balance all your blood sugars. Your vegetables that are the highest amount are in your lettuces, your green leafy lettuces, your variety of lettuces, not just one lettuce over the other lettuce, your butters, your reds, your green leafy, all the different variety of lettuces. And they're going to have high fiber, high fat burning, and you want to eat a lot of lettuces. You don't want to eat just, and you want to have a variety of salads. You don't want to just stick with one salad. You want to mix up different things in your salads. And I really enjoy eating salads. And you can also mix up your variety of oils and make you a really good salad dressing. And this brings me to a really important thing that I don't think people really consider, but it's very important, and that is sleep. Sleep is the most fat-burning thing that can happen to us if we get into it. I know a lot of people struggle from this, and that's, and I'll talk about it because, you know, you can drink your herbal teas, get yourself in that mode. I've done a video, I think, for Facebook one time where I talked about how to get yourself ready for bed, and that's drink some good relaxing tea, whether it's chamomile tea or valerian. There's so many good relaxing teas, and get yourself ready for bed. Getting away from your cell phone because it has a blue light in it. And I just went through and talked about how to get yourself ready for bed. And then sleep, because when you get, this says 7 hours, but it really talks about clinically 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Now, as we get older, and that's over 60, sometimes we require less sleep, and that's because of the hormone chemical that and the melatonin that is, we require less sleep. But for the majority of us, we require, and even younger people, they require more sleep. So we really want to get to bed earlier if we're younger, and as we get older, sometimes we go to bed earlier, but we wake up earlier. And that's me. I go to bed early and I wake up early. So I'm a person that requires about 8 hours of sleep. And but if I don't get that 8 hours of sleep, I'm not good. But it is very good if you don't get, I mean, it's good if you do, but it's not good if you don't get that sleep. And so, and then too, to try to get some sort of exercise or to be moving throughout the day. The people that are sedentary, that don't get any type of movement or whatever, are the people that show up in all the studies that have the Alzheimer's, the dementia, the type of people that are not moving. They have problems thinking, concentrating, remembering. And that's another good reason why I'm always good with my essential oils, because essential oils also keep us smelling and moving. Essential oils are very good in all the studies of Alzheimer's. They can't smell certain smells, and then they're not moving around, they're not active. And so you want to be moving, you want to be walking. I know it's very hard for me sometimes. I have certain issues, but I still press on. I still try to press on, and I still try to make myself walk. I hurt, but I just say, you know what, I'm still going to get up and I'm still going to walk. So it's very important to exercise, walk on a treadmill. If you have problems like me and you can't run, just walk. Just walk. And then the last thing that I'm going to touch on that's really good, and there's really two things combined into this, and that's fasting and intermittent fasting. If you can fast one day a week or once ever so often, or if you can do intermittent fasting. Some people cannot fast at all because of their medical condition or because of whatever reason. They may be a diabetic. But if you can do intermittent fasting, and that is not eat after 6 o'clock at night and then not eat until 12 o'clock the next day, that is called intermittent fasting. And what you're doing is you are giving your gut a chance to rest from digesting any food. And then you eat during a short period of window, which is from like 12 to 6. That's 6 hours of just eating whatever, maybe 2 meals a day. And that takes a little bit of work, like a couple of weeks to get used to. I remember it took me 2 weeks to get used to doing that. I've backed off of that right now because I am detoxing right now. And I'm eating around 10 o'clock in the morning, and then so I stop eating at 6 o'clock at night. But I have had some tremendous weight loss, and I have struggled for the last 2 years trying to do intermittent fasting, and I'm on a new product now called Black Oxygen Organics, and I've just all of a sudden started losing weight and not really trying. I'm not trying to, well, I am trying to promote this product. This product is helping me to detox, but it really is a good product. I'm detoxing, and didn't mean to lose weight, but all of a sudden, out of the clear blue, I just started losing weight. I just wanted to detox and regenerate my cells and help just my overall body get some candida out of my system, and just really just wanted to start feeling more energy and more strength in my body. And lo and behold, I started losing weight. And so I really got off of the intermittent fasting, and didn't want to stay off of it for long, and wanted to get back on it. But the intermittent fasting reduces your insulin, forces your body to burn fat. And what it does is you don't do any snacking, which I'm not into the snacking. If I feel like I have to have something, I'll go in there and I'll get me some tea, which tea does help me. It gets rid of my craving. And that's another thing. We feel like we have to have something to snack on all the time. So we'll get in there, we'll get some chips, or we'll get this, or we'll get that, which is just a mind thing. If we'll drink some water, or if we'll get some tea, and just really because we're needing some hydration, that will usually go away. And so, like I said, this is really what I wanted to talk about. I still have to do my video, my other video on my other video, but I wanted to talk about this because this right here, if you can, kind of transition into this has a lot to do with boosting your immune system. And a lot of people, if they can stay away from the processed food, the sugar, and get on a more healthier food choice plan, it's more like when I consult with somebody and I ask them about their lifestyle choices, they just tell me, well, I don't have time for all that. And I know because I have been there, I have done that, and it's just doing one thing at a time, making one choice, and deciding not to go back to the other, and then trying another one, and you just bring one in at a time, and then you start I make a big huge salad and get it ready for the week, over the weekend on my day off. And then I decide I'm not going to eat out that week. I just make that choice. And I stick to my choice. And then, you say to yourself, we're not going to do this and we're not going to do that. And then we stick to our choices. And you just have to be strong enough and stick to your choices. We're not going to bring any more candy bars. We're not going to buy any more of this. We're not going to do any more of that. Because I'm going to tell you something, and this is a known fact. Every time you bring sugar into your body, it lowers your resistance and it lowers your immune system for 5 hours, okay? And so if you think about every time you're bringing sugar into your mouth and you think about all the sugar that you're bringing in, you're lowering your resistance, and this is the time where a lot of people are getting sick. So you think about that, okay? So you're lowering just by bringing sugar into your mouth. And how much sugar are you bringing into your mouth? That's into your body. So just by having sugar alone, and not to mention all the other stuff, you're lowering. It's in your meat, it's in your dairy, it's in your, I mean, you have a lot of work to do because of all the sugar that's in all the food. Okay, that's a lot of food. So you think, well, what am I going to eat? Eat salad, eat vegetables, and then eat a couple pieces of fruit in a day. Okay, you can eat vegetables. A lot of vegetables will give you a lot of vitamins. And if you eat organic fruit and organic vegetables, they're going to be even better for you. And if you pre-cook all your food and put it in containers and take it to work with you, you have an even better chance. And I'm telling you right now, I didn't think I could do it either, but I've done it over the last couple of years, and my health has gone up straight up through the roof. Most people that eat processed food and they buy their food out at these little places, they're just living off of prescriptions and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to sound mean or anything like that, but over time, it just takes a toll on your body. And people get rich off of other people not doing all this stuff for themselves at home. So, I mean, it's just something for you to think about. And really, that's what I wanted to try to do today, is I wanted to just kind of bring this up to the surface and let people think about it, because, you know, you have the power and you have the control to do it yourself. And you don't have to grow a garden. You can buy all this stuff out at the store. You can grow a garden if you want. I mean, it does take a little bit of time, and I know it is kind of hard for some people to think about doing that. Or you could just buy this stuff at the grocery store and cook it at home. Get it ready the night before. Maybe you have to give up a little TV time. I don't know. Okay, I know that's enough for now, but I just wanted to come on here and let everybody know that I was thinking of them. And, you know, these are some things to think about. These are some things that you can implement every week, just one thing at a time. And just, this is Rexanna from my heart to your family, and let you know that it's a doable process. And I know if I could do it, I know you can do it. Okay, that's all for today. God bless everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.